All right. Well, let's just have the conversation. I'm just going to get right into it here. Um, Probably one of the more impressive wins. I feel like I say this very often, but I've seen in OKC, don't call me crazy, history, especially coming off a back to back and the amount of games we've played and, the amount of days and the injuries to Lou and J Dub going into Milwaukee and just absolutely obliterating them with what it seemed to be not a lot of effort. Don't want to say that like in the wrong way, but um, yeah, I mean, super easy win. After the second quarter, Milwaukee had no answer. I mean, they tried, couldn't come back. Shea got his. Hartenstein went absolutely berserk against a bigger Milwaukee team, and so did Chet. So I'm just super impressed.
Yeah, I would say it was kind of what it seems like a typical night for us.
Yeah,
This
right.
is kind of what it's becoming into is where we just have nights like this where we blow out teams. Shea does his thing, and the rest of the guys get going. In this case, like it felt like Shea wasn't even playing to his full potential.
He was
And
exhausted. He was
yeah,
so
he was
tired.
exhausted. His legs were shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he just wanted to get to that 20-point mark tonight, to be honest. And just as soon as he kind of hit that, he was ready to go. But after that, like even with him not scoring his normal output, like Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe, Chet, I mean, ridiculous. Ridiculous what Hartenstein was doing tonight. He was the one that was impressing me with his effort on the offensive end as an engine. He's truly becoming an engine. Like
Yeah.
he could honestly play minutes with him and J Dub, and where we stagger Shea and Chet, and that is probably two top five offenses
Yep.
between a bench unit and a starting unit. And I don't think any other NBA team has that. Like
No,
that's insane.
no, it's very hard to match. I'm just going to get to this comment here from LA on YouTube. Appreciate the comment, by the way. But where would you guys see the Bucks if they were in the West? I don't think the Bucks are
Mm,
that good. I think they have a very exceptional player in Giannis. I think Dame's kind of hitting a little bit of a slope. Still a good player, but just not a top tier guard in my opinion. I don't know.
I can answer it.
Middle of the pack, lower 6 to 8, probably.
I probably have them around. I was gonna say right around like that 7-8 mark. They seem like a very Timberwolves esque
Yeah,
team. They remind me of that with Giannis as kind of being the lone star. Everyone else has good nights and bad nights for them, and they struggle against the better teams versus they kind of beat up on the worst teams because of having Giannis. And then there's obviously like the tanking teams that don't want to win anyways. So being out west, I think that would make it even tougher on them. I could even see them sliding into that 9-8 spot. Considering how bad our 9 and 8 seeds kind of are as well, like maybe not that far, but they definitely don't seem like the max I could see them at is like maybe 6,
yeah,
but
Max.
that'd be like if Kuzma started playing defense or something.
Right.
That's not
I
happening
was just
anytime
gonna
soon.
mention like the past Bucks teams, especially the um, championship winning team, they kind of screwed up in trading Dame. I'm not gonna trading for Dame because Drew Holiday was Drew Holiday and Giannis together were amazing on the defensive side of the ball, and it kind of just flowed into their offense, created more opportunity. They don't have a great defense. I mean, Dame's not a great defender. Kuzma's not a good defender. Brook Lopez could block shots, but he's older and slow. Uh, so, yeah, just Giannis is on that side of the ball. Um, but yeah, just getting back to OKC. I mean, like you were saying, there's just so many guys on this team. Um, Isaiah Joe, absolutely outstanding night. He's been a little shaky recently. Aaron Wiggins coming off a sickness, terrible first half, bounced back great in the third quarter, finished with 9 points, but after the first half, I mean, pretty solid second half. Yeah, Isaiah Joe 19, Caruso 10. Chet is taking Giannis to the rim off the dribble. He's knocking down threes. I mean, he's looking like he is becoming just an amazing player for OKC. I'll get to another comment here from Jack. Pistons beat the Bucks, TBH. Pistons could beat the Bucks. I'm not ready to say the Pistons can win a 7-game series in the Eastern Conference, but they're definitely on their way. I just think that lack of a second scorer might bite them this year, but they're definitely a surging team and a young and upcoming team.
Yeah, I don't know if the Pistons have enough maybe to beat a Giannis-led team yet. I still have pretty good respect for Giannis overall, kind of as a player, especially in the playoffs. I feel like he can step it up to another gear. Dame's going to step it up into another gear as well, because when you're locked in against just one opponent, it's a lot different than in the regular season.
Right.
When you're on the second leg of a back-to-back, your legs are kind of shot between both teams. That's kind of what we saw here. And we just had more depth compared to them. That's where we just kept crushing them. In terms of offensively, like you mentioned, like I was surprised seeing Chet take Giannis pretty comfortably to the basket.
Comfortably, he's been doing this, and I'm sitting here watching like this is new, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, this next year leap right here, we're kind of seeing it on the offensive end. Like he could have easily been an all-star this season without the injuries. So, I mean,
look out.
Man.
Look out. Everybody look out. I mean, he's looking so confident. And like you mentioned, the injuries. He hasn't – I don't know the exact number of games that he's played this season, but it's not many to, everyone else compared to everyone else. But he's just looking super comfortable and super confident. And I'm really excited about that because I believe he was our second best player in the playoffs last year. And I think he's going to make another giant leap this year. I expect Dub to make a leap. We didn't have Hartenstein, and this guy's running our offense. Like you said, he's the engine at this point. And can I say one thing about Isaiah Hartenstein?
Go ahead, man.
Let me say two things, actually. This guy catches lobs at a center of his size. It's incredible. He's freakishly athletic, but it's like you don't expect that from him. He's catching lobs. He's cranking it back with his left hand and just finishing it, where most centers would just fumble the ball, turn it over. I mean, recently the lobs have been unbelievable. And then another thing, talk about just giving your body up on the defensive side of the ball. He goes up, same as Chet, every time in the paint, he'll try to block the shot. Doesn't matter if Giannis is coming to dunk on him. Doesn't matter if Ant Edwards is coming to dunk on him. He's going to be there. And it's just impossible to have a great showing against this OKC defense, especially – I can't even point it out. It's the guards and it's the bigs. There's no holes in this defense. It's going to be a real hard time for anybody in the playoffs for sure. Let's get to a few of these comments here.
I was going to mention the comments. We got some coming in.
I was just going to mention this YouTube one real quick from Wise One on YouTube. The Piston of the West.
It could be referencing the game we just had yesterday, and then maybe just from the youthfulness of our roster in terms of a comparison.
I can see that in our talk with Pistons Jack yesterday. I mentioned a few times that Pistons kind of remind me of OKC when they were just getting started, and their youthfulness and the way they play hard, but. Yeah, maybe. Another one on YouTube here. LA again, 13 games up on the West. Yeah, it's getting to a point where every night, that's crazy. Every night, it just gets harder and harder to believe. I'm sitting here watching the games. I'm like, all right, we're up 5. Okay, we're up 10. Okay, now we're up 20 against Milwaukee in Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back. And we played how many games and how many nights, and we're so injured. And it's just nobody can compete. And I really hope this continues into the playoffs because we're looking like one of the most dominant teams ever. I mean, we have the best net rating ever. We're at plus 12.4 in the score differential. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thanks, Noah. Appreciate that one.
Yeah, let's answer some questions. We got Thunder Coverage who mentioned, was he right about Kuzma? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan of Kyle Kuzma. I think he's a decent player. I don't think on a normal team he could be the third option and win a championship. It's different when you're with LeBron and AD. But was he necessarily the third option? I mean, they had a bunch of guys. Dwight, Rondo. I mean, Rondo's the man. So yeah, I think coverage is right. I don't think he's a championship winning third option.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Now that we kind of think about it, like he had a lot of other people kind of covering from him from all his deficiencies, but from like a scoring output with the lack of efficiency, that's kind of what he provides, and that's kind of what he's known for. If his efficiency randomly picked up, then he'd be perfectly fine as the third option, but I don't obviously see that happening. He requires kind of the higher volume to get to the higher level of points. So there's not really much hate there. It's just kind of who he is as a player. Someone mentioned Kleza on IG mentioned people should start saying free throw merchant to Giannis. Well, Giannis technically does kind of get the more free throws respectively so compared to Shea, because he can get to the rack at will. And he's just a bigger guy, and he's going to get hacked a lot more. So we're not going to push any free throw merchant to anyone, because getting to the free throw line has objectively always been a skill set rather than a hindrance.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead, bro.
This is the only comment I'm going to have on free throw merchant. That's a baby term. That's a teenager term that they've made up. Free throw merchant. Giannis is one of the most dominant players ever to play the game. He's going to get fouled. He's going to get to the line. So stop that.
Yo, we got Russ Clips in here. Legend. He was asking we got a lot of comments asking for the rest of the Thunder crew. Which is really cool. Maybe we should have a weekend session where we have kind of all of us, like a 8-panel, 9-panel thing, and bring everyone together all at once. I think that'd be really dope. So considering there's a lot of comments asking for everyone.
I'm going to put this comment up from YouTube because I got to talk about this. Noah Springer here. Isaiah Joe has been awful recently. Why does Mark put his ass on the court? I want Dylan Jones. I think this is trolling, to be honest.
This is definitely trolling.
But I do want to give Isaiah Joe his absolute flowers. What a game on the road tonight. He has these games on the road where he just gets hot, and that just adds another option to our prolific offense. And, I mean, it doesn't seem like anyone could attack him on defense either. So, Isaiah Joe, give him his flowers, man.
Yeah, we should definitely give him his flowers. I saw other comments here if you want to pull some of those up.
Yeah. Here we go. This is the Giannis deserves his free throws. Best in the paint equals more free throws. Why can't people understand that? I think it's people believe what they read, and a lot of people just go on Twitter and read one post or watch one clip, and that's it. I can't really answer that question other than that.
We got a really fun comment section tonight. We may not pull up all these tweets for YouTube purposes.
Yeah. I'll pull up this one here.
There's a LA one as well right after that I wanted to pull up.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get to that one right after. Joe, do you think the double big lineup works now or only against bigger teams? I think the double big lineup has worked a lot better than when it started. I still don't love the idea of playing it against small ball lineups. I think our small ball lineup is by far the best small ball lineup in the NBA, so don't need it. But yeah, I think against bigger teams, Chet's ability to spread the floor, and then Ihart's as well, not as a shooter, but just creating offense. That's insane what I'm reading, but
I have a Instagram comment by TGM. How can you quantify Shea being more valuable than Jokic when Jokic leads in all stats besides
your same old 50 plus, 40 plus?
I can answer that from a statistical aspect.
Yeah, shut that down, please.
Yeah, so quantifying Shea's season, it's the best guard season we've seen since the likes of MJ. Like, it's getting closer and closer to an MJ-esque level of a season, even if you like put in inflation from back in 1996. Like, if we were to compare according to each age of time, like time doesn't matter in terms of Shea. Like, he'd dominate, I believe, any era the way he's playing right now. It's not just the points that he's really utilizing, it's the defensive end. It's also what he's kind of done from just like a leadership aspect. He's still allowing a lot of these guys to grow. Like, he's, J-Dub's an all-star this year. Chet's still able to operate in himself. Like, Shea's just kind of a guy that's similar to like a two guard that can really assist, and his assists have gotten better as well. But like, overall, his game's just improved, and he went from an all-time efficient season last season to raising the bar to the point where we're literally comparing him to one of the greatest players of all time. I mean, that's pretty much the only closest thing that we can compare him to is Steph Curry's best season where he won unanimous MVP, MJ's best couple years where he won, championships, Kobe's best years, and even that he's eclipsing from like all statistical categories as a guard. So like, Jokic is having the best center or his position, but Shea's doing the same exact thing from a statistical standpoint. And then on top of that, we have the 13 wins, playing both ends. So that's where it kind of favors Shea in terms of the narrative. And this is a narrative award, no matter what you want to say about the word valuable. You can say valuable in terms of, the face value stats are eye-popping. Like, I know Jokic is like top 3 or top 5 in steals, points, assists, and rebounds. That's all nice and fine, but when you're not winning, it doesn't really matter. And Shea's said that repeatedly in like almost every post-game interview. He's asked about being a free throw merchant, and he's literally said, I don't care, I'm just trying to win.
Yeah, I'd like to get in on this as well. TJM's still going in the comments here, but I mean, every time you break one of Michael Jordan's records, I mean, I think that's cause for MVP talk. Tonight, Shea broke, I think it was MJ's record against top 5 teams in opposing conferences, like 20 points. I think he has I forgot what the exact stat was, but TJM saying Jokic is 4th all-time in per. SGA is 17th at 31-18. I mean, listen, I guess you could say Jokic is the MVP. I mean, he lets Sarr, the rookie, have 34 points on him and is 0-2 against the Wizards. Lost to them at home. I think MVPs win. And when you're 13 games above a team and you want to compare the two, it's just I think these comments are either trolls or people really just dislike Shea, and that's okay. I mean, he's just going to go out and put 30 on your team every single night. And he's also going to win the game by 20 at every single night. So, yeah, I don't think that there's a real conversation. If you go on the betting books, he's like minus 800 at this point. I think the conversation is more just for publicity at this point, just to bring it up, to create a narrative, to create controversy, but it's not close.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not close. And what we're doing to the Eastern Conference as a team, I think I pointed out the stat last night. We were 23-1. Now we're 24-1. 27 wins on the road. I mean, we had a 3-0 road trip with missing arguably our all-star guard in J-Dub. I mean, I honestly thought we were going to lose tonight. I think that's what I predicted, just because we'd be so tired and exhausted. And I predicted that right in terms of we were super tired and exhausted, and we still beat the brakes out of the Bucks. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely really ridiculous, man.
So I've come on this podcast and said I was surprised because I thought we were going to lose 3 straight games. 3 straight games just because of injury and, the back-to-back and all that. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to ever say we're going to lose another game until I'm proven otherwise. IG comments here, SGA is so hated for no reason. The reason is when you're that good, you're going to have a lot of haters. I mean, look at LeBron. I mean, probably the most hated guy in sports. So
yeah, he's the most beloved and the most hated at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, SGA's got his followers as well. I'm gonna put this up because I just love this comment on YouTube. Sorry, I just want to leave that there for. Nope, sorry, wrong one. Here it is. I'm just gonna leave that there for a minute because top tier closer in the NBA, if not the best. I mean, dude he's a killer. He's a killer, and I'm just reading these comments and I gotta stop looking. But I haven't seen anything. Well, I don't want to say it like that, but as an OKC fan, I haven't seen a team like this. I haven't seen a player like this. I haven't seen a culture like this. I mean, this is just. We're so lucky to be part of it. I don't want to say we're part of it, but we are part of this right now. And listen, I think they're just going to get better. I really do. I mean, you got guys, they're injured, they're tired, they're young. Like, it's only going to get better, and we have these guys locked up. We're going to extend Dub in the offseason. We're going to get Chet extended. We're going to be good, man, for a real long time, and it's just super exciting.
Here, I'm going to pull up another IG comment that we had by Jay Baseball. He mentioned Shea's odds changed since the game. According to Polymarket, they should have changed. But overall, I think, especially since last game, it kind of went back to normal where he was at maybe minus 500 or 800. Like, he's pretty much got it on lock. It'll go up and down when Jokic has like a triple-double game or whatever. But the fact that he's still that far in the lead from a betting odds favorite, I don't think it matters how much it fluctuates as long as it doesn't go past the negative marker and Jokic closes in or anything. And I don't see that.
If he's over minus 200, he's winning the MVP, and it's not even going to get close to minus 200 because it's already over, guys. If you want to base MVP off triple doubles, listen, I know we pushed the Westbrook narrative years ago, but I mean, he could have won MVP multiple years in a row. Giannis had a triple double tonight. Look what ended up happening to his team. Yeah, it's not close.
I had to bring up this comment by Tyler. I appreciate the awesome comment here. Hartenstein played like an $80 million player. Dude, he's playing like I'd be comfortable paying this man $120 million just for the way, just for how hard he plays. Like, he just doesn't take a possession off. Like, he has this. He's like so skill set. Like, he has such a skill set in some forms of the game, and then other forms, if you know what I mean. Like, he just doesn't have certain skill sets, but it doesn't matter because he plays so hard. And those are the perfect types of guys that I like having on rosters like this, especially for the size that he brings. He's kind of the guy that we were missing, like the perfect replacement player that we needed. Like, if we don't have J-Dub or Chet in games and Hartenstein needs to step up, like, he'll do so. And
can I carry off of that when you're done?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, Tyler, definitely agree with that. A lot of these people that say OKC's not ready to make a run, they're thinking of last year's OKC team, and it bothers me. They're not realizing that we have guys who play their hearts out every single night, and that's when it, like, in the playoffs, that's huge. Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, J-Dub, these guys played their asses off, guys. And in the playoffs, star players get rattled in OKC when they're forcing 20 turnovers, when they're scoring 30 points off of turnover, when they're playing defense in these guys' faces, star players will crumble. And
I've got to comment.
Like
I've got to come back and
we have so many guys. We have so many guys.
Dude, we almost saw a mini crash out by the center of the Bucks. What's his name? I'm already forgetting. Brooke Lopez. This man was about to crash out on. There was a couple of missed calls. He's just a big body and we have smaller guys, so it's much easier to miss calls, and that works in our favor. And that's where the frustration does come about. Like, I'll be honest, as a Thunder fan, like we have smaller guys. When you're a big body like that, you're just not going to get calls. And that kind of bled into the game. And I think at that point, it was still a pretty close 10-point game. And things like that, like every game, we're seeing crash outs by players, coaches, and media members. And
they freak out.
I mean, it's
another name, Case and Wallace, by the way. I forgot to mention that. It is hilarious.
We've got a ton of comments to get to, by the way. Let's stick to the comments real quick. Underrated in the IG chat mentioned kind of to his prior comment of the hate that SGA is getting. He's mentioning that it's kind of unnecessary hate, that he's kind of getting an inaccurate free throw merchant, label to him. And I'll just quickly say, like, when LeBron James, flunked out of the playoffs and lost in the finals, like there was names that he was getting called as well in terms of not being clutch. He had that label on him even after winning. Like he's still labeled as a non-clutch player.
He still has that label.
And he's still labeled as like a guy that is a pass first player, and he's got nearly 50,000 points upcoming. Like there's also always inaccurate labels on guys that win a lot, and we'll just see that with Shea and the team. We also have an inaccurate label that the Thunder get a lot of foul calls on us, and we just don't. We're bottom 5 in the league, so
they're bottom three in the league in free throw attempts per game.
And I think it's actually working in our favor that teams are bringing up the free throws, because the refs are giving our other role players more free throws now that it's being brought up. Like we're not getting as many, so it's actually working in our favor. So
it's only going to work in our favor in the playoffs too, because when that whistle is swallowed in the playoffs, OKC's bottom 3 in free throw attempts. So I don't think you guys understand that OKC is just going to get better in the playoffs. Another
Blake
one.
Said, I was going to mention. Yeah, Blake said Kaysen's so underrated. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, real quick. I mean, Kaysen's making just another guy who's making a giant leap this season. Started off a little rocky. Has been unbelievable in this last week and a half, 2 weeks, especially since he's come back from injury. Just super exciting to have him as well. I mean, this team is 9 deep, 10 deep. It's going to be a real big struggle for anyone to beat them in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on Blaster's comment here, hoping that AJ's healthy coming up to handle the second unit. I think that'd be fantastic. The combination of having him and Kaysen developing into another guy that could be a second unit ball handler alongside Hartenstein. We don't really lack in that aspect, but it's definitely much needed. Like AJ's a great defender. Like he's like above average as a defender, ball handler, and offensive scoring piece that like he's actually going to be useful in the playoffs when we'll just have stretches where we don't score, and then we put AJ in, and then boom, we're scoring again. Yeah. And that's a lot to do with his creation, his IQ. He's great on the defensive end, and he just knows where to be. And I say that about every guy on the team, but he knows where to be even better than the guys that we already have. So
settles the second unit's pace as well. I think that's a big thing. Our second unit is real explosive. They like to get out in transition. They like to, score fast. It's not always a rush. AJ will be great in settling the pace, knocking down shots, and just running that second unit. I'm interested to see if they trust him yet. I mean, he's a rookie. He got injured relatively early. So we'll see. I mean, here's our own comment. He's set to come back in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully. So maybe he gets enough time before the playoffs. Maybe we could use the first round to give him some well-earned minutes, and maybe he can mature, hopefully quickly. Here we go. Thunder rated's in the chat here. His steal, talking about Kaysen, his steals per game on his minutes is insane. AJ Mitchell is an underrated missing factor. Yep, I think AJ might be the fastest on the team. He is so quick. We have a lot of guys like that. We have a lot of real quick just guys that'll get up in other people's faces. Like you said, with bigger guys, I mean, we swarm. We have 4 guys around the ball at all times, and multiple teams have said it feels like you're playing like 10 guys on the court. It's like 2 different defenses at the same time. So I don't know. I'm extremely hopeful, extremely positive, and I haven't had a complaint in weeks. I'm getting sick of it. I like to complain. I haven't had one in weeks.
Yeah, Tyler had a great comment here. I mean, he's making some great points. We may have to bring him up on the live. Tyler, if you get on IG next time we're live, we'd love to have you hop on and bring your thoughts to the lives here. He mentioned that we haven't really had a game fully healthy. I don't think the team or the media really recognizes how many games I think they've just forgotten how many games Shea has just sat in the fourth quarters. Like his stats would be actually ridiculous. Like he's averaging 33 on very modest minutes per game, I would say, compared to other top 10 players in points per game. So his minutes per game are always evaluated in the correct way from the organization. And even then he's getting tired. That is a concern for me. I feel like he needs to get his conditioning to the point where he's able to play 35 plus minutes consecutively, because we're going to need that. Like I've seen in the playoffs as well, he kind of gets gassed. And so that's where the next, a lot of other ball handlers are going to come in handy. We're going to need to conserve his energy because he's going to be double, triple teamed, and they're going to try to get him exhausted. And the further we go, he's going to need to be in shape.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, we have a lot of these second year, third year guys that are also making the leap. So hopefully they're, this playoff are able to take a lot of the pressure off of him, especially in the early rounds, which I think they will. I mean, Chet's been outstanding. J-Dub looks amazing, all-star. And then our veterans, Caruso, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace is a younger guy, but he looks great. There's just too many guys. I just wanted to get to one last comment here before we probably start to wrap things up. Thunderrated live on the Instagram chat. I really appreciate you, man. But how many teams starting 5s do you think would lose to our bench in a 7-game series? A lot, especially in the Eastern Conference. I mean, if we're talking about the whole NBA, we're killing a lot of teams. For sure. I think it'd be a solid time to wrap it up, probably.
Yeah, I wanted to mention one last thing before we got out of here was
go for it.
We're most likely going to face the Clippers in our first round series. Like I can definitely see them beating both the Kings and the Mavericks, who are kind of set to be in the 9-10 spot, and maybe the Suns sneak in past the Mavericks. It looks like the Mavericks may have to forfeit some games upcoming, and they'd rather have a pick or whatever available for this season anyway. Their season's pretty much cooked. So most likely we'll see a Clippers Thunder first round matchup, and we're definitely going to sweep them. I just want to get that comment out there before we end it off.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm super excited for the playoffs. Real quick, Ralph Films on YouTube. We are live after every single game that OKC plays. DM us at Instagram at Bring the Thunder Podcast, and you will be able to hop on and have a nice conversation with us about the game. Our next game is on Wednesday at home, so DM us anytime before then, and we'll get you on. But other than that, really appreciate everybody tuning in. All the comments, outstanding. Just another amazing win. Keep going. OKC keeps on getting better, and it's just super exciting. And if you don't have anything else left to say, I think I'll leave us with Thunder up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. I appreciate everyone for joining. Thank you.